Hey, this is Chris Kolenda, founder of the Strategic Leaders Academy, and I'd like to welcome you to this introductory video for Leading Well, 6 habits that inspire people to contribute their best to your team's success. You see my email on the bottom. So this is the overview to this course. In each of the different modules, I'm going to give you part of my journey. So my leadership journey over the last 30 plus years of leading people in organizations has been up and down, like everybody's is up and down. And one of the things that I see as one of my callings, one of my missions, if you will, my ministry is to help people lead as the best version of themselves. And part of that is sharing my painful mistakes in hopes that they will be your shortcut to success. So I am going to be sharing a lot of those personal mistakes because oftentimes they can be the funniest stories, but also they are the ones that provide the most powerful learning lessons. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of those through this course. My biggest aha over 30 years is, look, if you want to have a successful organization, you've got to get the big things right. And the big things right are leadership, culture, and strategy. They're like the legs of a stool. You got to have all three in place and aligned to have a stable organization from which you can grow and your organization can thrive. And we write about this in Leadership: The Warrior's Art, which is my first book, which is an anthology. Over 50,000 people are using that for their leader development experiences. I also learned this lesson in Afghanistan in many different ways, and as a business leader, and both as an independent consultant of my own firm, as well as the founder of the Strategic Leaders Academy. So the key is get the big things right: leadership, culture, and strategy. This course is focused on the leadership leg. What happens when you don't have the leadership leg in place? Well, you're like the Titanic. Imagine the Titanic. The ship had it had its game plan to go from London to New York. Everything on the ship was working properly: the engines, the steering mechanism, the laundry, the cooks, etc. But what they were lacking was leadership. Somebody looking out for the obstacles or roadblocks along the way, somebody to make decisions in a uncertain and volatile environment. And as a result, they didn't see the iceberg until it was too late. And we all know what happened with the Titanic. So the bottom line is get the big things right: leadership, culture, and strategy. Give your organization that stable platform for success. Okay, of course, it's harder than it looks. Look, according to studies by Google and others, employees are 2 to 3 times more effective when they use their strengths every day. When they use their natural superpowers, their natural strengths every day, 2 to 3 times more productive than others. However, 67% of Americans, according to the Gallup report, being unengaged at work. Imagine that. 2 out of every 3 Americans say they spend most of their time doing something other than being productive. 75%, according to Gallup, of Americans who leave their jobs voluntarily do so to get away from their managers. That's incredible. And this revolving door is like this silent drain on revenue. It's like having a hole in the bottom of your bucket, because employee turnover costs somewhere between 50 to 200% of that employee's annual salary. And the more senior they are, the closer it bumps up to 200%. So you reduce turnover and automatically you are adding to your bottom line. 90% of business strategies not executed successfully. This is a data point from Kaplan and Norton's book, Balanced Scorecard. And this is a major leadership problem. When your strategy and your game plan are not executed, it's going to be much more difficult to be successful. So success, of course, all starts with leadership. There are a lot of different definitions of leadership out there. Here's mine. Leadership is about inspiring people to contribute their best willingly to your team's success. Now, some people say that leadership is about getting people to do something they wouldn't otherwise do. My problem with that definition is it blurs the line with coercion. Because with a big enough baseball bat, You can motivate people to do a lot of things that they wouldn't otherwise want to do. But that's not leadership, that is coercion. So our definition, inspiring people to contribute their best and most authentic selves, and to do that willingly, and to do that for a purpose, which is they're applying their best and most authentic selves willingly so the overall team can be successful. And when you inspire that you are leading. Okay, so there's 6 habits for leading well. So let's take a little drill down into that. The first one is you're going to lead as your best and most authentic self. Second is you're going to follow what we call the 3 principles of leadership, core principles: trustworthiness, respect, and stewardship. Third is you're going to practice empathy. Fourth is you're going to lead with responsibility and accountability. Fifth is you're going to connect the why, the mission, vision, goals, outcomes to what people do every day. And then finally, you're going to multiply your experiences. You're going to live several lifetimes of experience in a very short period of time. And we'll talk about that later on in this course. Okay, so what happens when you have all 6? Well, that's what you can see across the top. When you got all 6, boom, you have success. But if you're missing one, then you're going to have some serious problems. So if you're missing authenticity, chances are you're going to have burnout. You're going to burn out yourself, and people are going to think you're a phony. If you're missing the core principles of trustworthiness, respect, and stewardship, then you get what we might call chicken shit behavior in organization. And chicken shit, as defined by historian Paul Fussell from the Second World War, is about petty and small-minded behavior that, of course, makes everything at work miserable. If you are missing empathy, then you are likely to get blindsided. Could be blindsided by your competitors, could be blindsided by your customers who leave, could be blindsided by your employees. When leaders lack responsibility and accountability, the result is organizations that become very risk averse and very low performing. Leaders who don't connect the why, the mission, vision, goals, and outcomes to what people do every day, wind up having people treat their organizations as rental cars. And you know what happens with a rental car: you jump in it, you drive it, you don't care really if it breaks, as long as it just gets you to where you need to go. Whereas if you own it, right, you're going to do things to take care of that car. You're going to wash it. I mean, nobody ever washed a rental car. Nobody ever took a rental car in for periodic services. But if you own the car, you're darn well going to do that stuff because you want that car to last and you want that car to perform as best as it possibly can. That's exactly how we want people to treat our organizations, as if they are owners, because they want that organization to be performing as its best self. And then finally, if you don't multiply your experiences, then you're going to be incompetent, because people who rely on personal experience alone do fine when all they're doing is repeating routine tasks in a very simple environment. But if you're in an environment of complexity and uncertainty, where you're meeting challenges that you haven't met before, if you're not multiplying your experiences, learning from others, then you're going to be incompetent. You're going to be unequal to the task, because the only experience you're benefiting from is the one that you see in the rearview mirror. We'll drill down on all these modules for each of these 6 habits. Of course, we're going to begin with authenticity. So that's next up. Habit number 1, be authentic. Lead as the best and most authentic version of yourself.